A few years ago, I was that person who believed the more vitamins you take, the healthier you become. I remember standing in a bright GNC store, shelves full of shiny bottles, all promising daily energy, immune support, better focus. I picked the most expensive one, thinking this must be the good stuff. For months, I took it religiously, every morning with my coffee like a ritual. But here's the crazy part. Instead of feeling better, I started feeling off. My stomach felt heavy, I was more tired, even bloated. It didn't make sense. So one day, I flipped that bottle over and actually read the ingredients. The very first one said, calcium carbonate. I thought, wait, what's that? I looked it up. It's limestone. Limestone. I couldn't believe it. I'd been swallowing rocks every morning and calling it nutrition. That was the moment I realized something was deeply wrong, not just with one brand, but with the entire vitamin industry. Because if the best product on the shelf is filled with the cheapest industrial ingredients, what about the rest? And then a bigger question hit me. Why is an industry that's supposed to protect our health using the same materials you'd find in cement factories and corn syrup factories? From that day, I started digging deeper, researching, testing, talking to experts, and what I found shocked me even more. So in this video, we're going to strip away the marketing, the shiny labels, and the one-a-day slogans, and look at what's really inside those multivitamins. Because if you care about your health or your family's, this might be the most eye-opening 5 minutes you'll ever spend. So let's start with the very first trap hiding in almost every multivitamin: calcium carbonate. On the label, it sounds harmless. Calcium, something we all think we need for strong bones. But what they don't tell you is that this form of calcium doesn't come from milk or leafy greens. It comes from rock, literally crushed limestone. And here's the problem. Your body isn't a cement mixer. It can't break down and absorb rock-based calcium easily. It has to go through more than 10 chemical steps before a single molecule can be used. And most of it just ends up passing through you. That's why many people who take calcium carbonate end up with bloating, stiffness, even joint pain. They're not getting stronger, they're building up residue. Then comes iron, the second hidden risk. You might think more iron means more energy, right? Not always. Our bodies have a hard time getting rid of excess iron. And when it builds up, it can trigger inflammation, especially in the liver and the heart. Think about it. We've been told to supplement what we lack. But what if we're overloading instead? These two minerals, calcium carbonate and iron, are cheap to produce, heavy to package, and great for business, but terrible for your biology. And they're just the beginning, because the next ingredient, the one that's in almost every affordable vitamin on the market, might surprise you even more. The next big bargain ingredient hiding in multivitamins is magnesium oxide. On paper, magnesium sounds amazing. It helps your muscles, your heart, your brain. But here's the catch. Not all magnesium is equally created. The version most companies use, magnesium oxide, is dirt cheap. And there's a reason it's cheap, because your body only absorbs about 3 to 4% of it. That means for every 100 milligrams you swallow, 96 just leave the building. Some people say, that's fine, I'll just take more. But that's where the joke turns on us. The more you take, the faster it becomes a laxative. So instead of fueling your muscles, you're fueling the restroom. Now compare that to magnesium glycinate, a form your body actually recognizes and absorbs up to 80%. But it costs more. And big supplement companies don't like more cost. They like more profit. So what do? They pick the cheapest form, slap the word magnesium on the label, and most consumers never notice the difference. The result? You think you're supporting your health, but you're really just supporting their margins. And it doesn't stop there, because the next ingredient is where the real illusion begins, where something synthetic, made from chemicals, gets marketed to you as natural. Now let's talk about one of the biggest illusions in the entire supplement world: synthetic versus natural vitamins. The word natural looks comforting, doesn't it? You see it on the bottle and instantly feel safe. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The term natural has no legal definition. A vitamin made in a chemical factory can still be labeled natural simply because it came from something that once existed in nature, like coal or petroleum. So imagine this. A company takes petroleum, runs it through a few chemical reactions, and voila, they call it vitamin C. Technically, it's the same molecular shape, but do you really believe your body reacts the same way it would to an orange or a bell pepper? In nature, vitamins never travel alone. They come wrapped with cofactors, little helper nutrients that make everything work together. When you isolate one synthetic fragment and remove all those cofactors, it's like trying to start a car without spark plugs. The shell looks the same, but nothing fires up. That's why some people take synthetic vitamins for months and feel absolutely nothing. Their body doesn't recognize what it's being fed. It's chemistry without life. And yet, these isolated, lab-made fragments are in most bottles sold today. Why? Because they're cheap to make, easy to store, and look perfect under a microscope. The question is, if the vitamin you're taking was never alive, how can it bring life back to you? And just when you think that's bad enough, wait till you hear what they're mixing with these synthetics to fill up the rest of the capsule. So what exactly are these cofactors I keep talking about? Think of them as the assistants your vitamins can't live without, the little keys that unlock every biochemical reaction in your body. Without them, the whole system just stalls. Every time your body builds a strand of hair, repairs tissue, digests food, or produces energy, it relies on hundreds of chemical reactions, and each one needs the right vitamin plus its cofactors. But here's the problem. When you buy a synthetic vitamin, you're not getting the full team. You're getting one lonely worker without his tools. Take vitamin C, for example. In nature, it comes with bioflavonoids, rutin, and other compounds that help it absorb and protect your cells. The pill version, ascorbic acid, is just one piece of that complex unit. It's like eating the peel of an orange and calling it the whole fruit. Without those cofactors, your body has to pull them from somewhere else, your tissues, your reserves, just to make that isolated vitamin usable. Over time, that creates nutrient debt. You end up draining what you already have. So even though you think you're nourishing yourself, you might actually be running your body on credit. And that's not even the worst part, because many companies don't just leave out the good stuff, they add extra fillers that make the problem even worse. Now let's talk about one of the sneakiest things inside most multivitamins: fillers. Every supplement company loves to brag about what they add, but they never tell you about what they stuff in. And the king of all fillers is maltodextrin. It sounds fancy, almost like a science upgrade. But in reality, maltodextrin is nothing more than a highly refined industrial starch, usually made from cheap, genetically modified corn that even farm animals wouldn't eat. Companies use it to bulk up powder, dry liquids, and make everything look smoother in the capsule. But here's the kicker: maltodextrin hits your blood sugar faster than table sugar. Let that sink in. You're taking a supplement to improve your health, but every pill secretly spikes your blood sugar higher than a soda. And because it's labeled as a complex carbohydrate, they get away with calling it healthy. It's a loophole, A legal trick that sounds good on paper, but feels terrible in your body. So if you're taking vitamins with maltodextrin, you're not only wasting your money, you're undoing the very benefits you think you're getting. But believe it or not, the deception goes even deeper. Because some ingredients inside these capsules aren't just fillers. They're genetically incompatible with your body. Now here's where things get personal. Literally written in your genes. Let's talk about vitamin B12 and folic acid, also known as vitamin B9. These are two nutrients your body absolutely needs for energy, brain function, and DNA repair. But here's the twist. Almost 40% of people have a genetic variation that makes it hard to convert these synthetic forms, cyanocobalamin for B12 and folic acid for B9.